One of my subscribers gave me a suggestion for today's lesson. They said, Jay, teacher, I suggest news about Super Bowl show. And I said, great idea, thanks. Well, hold on to your seat because I've got some breaking news. Breaking news. Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and as my subscriber suggested, I am going to read an article from the news today about the Super Bowl. And we're going to learn a number of phrases and vocabulary words that you can begin to use to transform your English fluency. So I hope you're ready for some learning and some laughter. Make sure you use the comments section to practice your English, engage with other English learners, and to let me know where you're watching from. With that being said, let's dive into today's lesson. According to Fox News, Super Bowl 60, LX, that's a Roman numeral. Super Bowl 60 is second most watched games, but ratings fell short of record. Ratings fell short of record. So when they talk about ratings, they're talking about how popular something is, okay? How many people watched it? How many people were engaged in the game? And they have a way of measuring how long someone watched and did they turn the channel. So they have so many different ways to be able to tell who actually watched the Super Bowl, okay? So let's get ready to learn from this article. Television viewership data showed that Super Bowl 60, the championship game between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, drew a huge audience in the United States, but fell just short of previous set records according to Nielsen ratings. Okay, that's who does all of the statistics and measurements and analysts of who's watching, how old they are, how long they watched. Nielsen's ratings. Okay, viewership, who watched. Okay, how many eyeballs, that's what we say, how many eyes were on the television. Okay, when you watch my channel, that's considered viewership. When you share and get someone else to watch, that contributes to the viewership. Okay, now notice here it says they drew a huge audience. Now drew here doesn't, it's not like you drew a picture, though you would use this word to say I drew a picture for my class. Drew here means they attracted. Okay, if I were to take off my shirt, you would behold my muscles and it would draw a crowd. It may even draw laughter. Okay, so it would, in the context of this sentence, when they drew an audience, they attracted. Okay, fell short or fell just short of a previous set records. When you fail short, that means that you don't make the mark. Okay, if you were trying to get somewhere by 1:00 p.m., if you fell short, you got there at 1:08. Okay, so you were late. I fell short. I didn't accomplish something. I didn't get there or arrive when I desired. The game aired on NBC and related platforms on February 8th, with millions tuning in across broadcast, streaming, and digital services. Okay. Related platforms. Platforms. Now, in the context of this sentence, platform is systems or services used for viewing or broadcasting. Many people listen to podcasts on digital platforms. Okay. Platform. When it comes to media, where you view something is considered a platform. YouTube is a platform. Television is a platform. The movie theaters is a platform. Your mobile phone can be considered a digital platform. Now, the word platform also has to do with where a person stands. That's not what this sentence is describing when it uses the word platform, but you can stand on a platform. The preacher stood on a platform. Before arriving to or before getting on the airplane, everyone stood on the platform. Okay, so a platform is where you stand, but here a platform has to do with how you watch a broadcast. All right, broadcast. Okay, broadcast. Say that with me. Broadcast. A TV or radio transmission to the public. The news broadcast aired at 6 p.m. last night. Okay. My English lessons broadcast in the morning. Okay, so I release a English lesson around 7:45 or 8 a.m. daily, okay? And it broadcasts over the YouTube platform, okay? It transmits. It goes out into the air, all right? The Nielsen rating system reported an average of about 124.9 million viewers across NBC, Peacock, and Telemundo, making Super Bowl 60 the second most watched telecast in U.S. television history, just behind last year's game. Okay, average. We talked about this word last month. Average, the typical amount or midpoint. Okay, the midpoint. 5 is the average of 10. It's right in the middle. Okay, so you might say the average score on the test was 85. So when you consider everyone in the class, the average grade was an 85. Now, average can also be used to describe a person. Okay, Jay, he's an average looking guy. Or she's an average looking girl. All right, average. How would you describe the restaurant? Was it excellent, you might say? It was average. It was all right. The food was okay. The service was good. It was average. It was okay. It was mid. All right. It wasn't too great and it wasn't very bad. It was right in the middle. It was average. All right. Let's say that again. Average. Okay. Average. Telemundo. I just wanted to say that one more time. Telemundo. Telemundo. What were you watching last night? What were you watching last night? I was watching Telemundo. Okay, let me get back to it. Telemundo, a Spanish language television network. Say it with me, everybody. Telemundo. The concert was broadcast live on Telemundo. I remember when I was a teenager and I took Espanol. I took Spanish in high school. We used to have to watch Spanish soap operas. And this was right before Telemundo came out, I believe. But Oh my goodness. As time went on, of course, we had more international television channels here in the United States, and one of the most popular is Telemundo, and it still airs now. I don't watch it like I used to, but those were the days. Oh my goodness. All right, Telemundo. So it's a Spanish television broadcast station. All right, let's continue. The audience peaked with approximately 137.8 million viewers during the second quarter, the highest point of the broadcast. Okay, so notice the audience peaked. Now, we talked about this word earlier in the week. Peak and week, they rhyme. All right, the audience peaked. So the highest that were watching the game was approximately or around 137.8 million viewers. Okay, so peak. Remember, I explained to you a peak has to do with the top, like the peak of a mountain or the peak of a glacier, the top. So the highest point. All right, peak. Now, notice they also use the highest point of the broadcast. Okay, point. Now, point can be used in a number of ways. Here, it has to do with the peak, all right, when it comes to the viewership. But let me tell you what it means here in this sentence, and then I'll tell you some more ways that you can use the word point. Okay, point, point, a specific moment or place, point. At that point in the movie, everyone was surprised, okay? Did you see the point in the game where someone ran out on the field with no clothes on? Okay, at that specific moment. All right. Now, point can be used a number of other ways. I'm pointing at the screen. Okay, I'm pointing to my right. All right, to point. Or a point can be a score in a game. All right, Jay scored 25 points in the game that was broadcast on Telemundo. Okay, so a point can be at a specific moment. I could point at the screen. I can score points. All right, so point, it just depends on how you use it. It also can describe something sharp. Ow, don't touch me with that point. It hurts. Okay, something sharp. So point is another one of those English words that you just have to use it properly. Okay? Musical star Bad Bunny's halftime performance also attracted massive viewership, drawing an average of about 128.2 million people nationwide. Massive, okay? A very large amount. Enormous, big, huge, a lot of people. Massive viewership, all right? Nationwide, across the United States. All right, nationwide or across your country. All right, if you're in Europe, you would say across the nation, across the country. All right. While this figure was slightly below the highest halftime show audiences ever recorded, it still marked one of the most viewed entertainment segments in Super Bowl history. Okay, now, halftime, that's the middle point of a game, halftime. All right, not the beginning, not the end, but it's right in the middle, and that's when they take a break, halftime. Recorded, ever recorded, all right, recorded, saved or logged for comparison or history. The weather station recorded the coldest day of the year, all right, recorded. Segment, a segment in a broadcast or in a show. Segment, parts or sections of a whole. Just a piece, a small part. The documentary had 3 main segments. All right, segment. All right, we're almost done. This was a short article today. NBC executives highlighted the game's performance across multiple platforms, noting that streaming included Peacock and digital services contributed significantly to the overall numbers. Streaming, watching content online or in real time. Many students enjoyed streaming movies in the evenings, okay? I sometimes do a live stream, at least once a month, a live stream, all right? Overall, that's the total number, overall, okay? Overall numbers. Telemundo set a record with its Spanish language broadcast, drawing an average of 3.3 million viewers and receiving 4.8 million during the halftime segment. Some analysts suggest that inclusion of viewing outside the home, such as in bars, restaurants, or group viewings, through updated Nielsen measurement methods may have helped boost the reported ratings. So in other words, they were able to measure people watching it outside of the home. So maybe a church group, maybe kids all gathered in one place, people at a bar, at a bowling alley. So when you have large groups of people at Buffalo Wild Wings, they consider those numbers also. To boost, to cause an increase, okay? We've talked about that, boost. They say that while traditional television audiences have shifted in recent years, the Super Bowl uniquely continues to attract enormous collective viewership across formats, okay? Uniquely, different, unusual, not common, unique. I have a unique way of teaching, okay? Still, despite the slight decrease, okay, from last year's records, broadcasters and advertisers alike see the Super Bowl as appointment television, a live event that still brings huge audiences together at one specific time each year, a rare phenomenon in modern media, okay? Appointment television, a program that people plan to watch. They make an appointment to see it. We call it must-see TV, okay? That's appointment television. You schedule it. Everyone knows third Sunday or the second Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday, okay? A phenomenon, something that is out of the ordinary, okay? Something that is unusually, something that is uncommon, a phenomenon. You don't see it that often, all right? So let's go back through today's article. Let's read it, and we'll do it at a faster pace without stopping. And then I'll make a great comprehension lesson about this, okay? All right, let's dive back in. Television viewership data show that Super Bowl 60, the championship game between Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, drew a huge audience in the United States, but fell just short of previous set records according to Nielsen ratings. The game aired on NBC and related platforms on February 8th, with millions tuning in across broadcast, streaming, and digital services. The Nielsen ratings system reported an average of about 124.9 million viewers across NBC, Peacock, and Telemundo, making Super Bowl 60 the second most watched telecast in U.S. television history, just behind last year's game. The audience peaked with approximately 137.8 million viewers during the second quarter, the highest point of the broadcast. Musical star Bad Bunny's halftime performance also attracted massive viewership, drawing an average of about 128.2 million people nationwide. While this figure was slightly below the highest halftime show audiences ever recorded, it marked one of the most viewed entertainment segments in Super Bowl history. NBC executives highlighted the game's performance across multiple platforms, noting that streaming, including Peacock and digital services, contributed significantly to the overall numbers. Telemundo set a record with its Spanish-language broadcast, drawing an average of 3.3 million viewers and reaching 4.8 million during the halftime segment. Some analysts suggest that inclusion of viewing outside the home, such as in bars, restaurants, or group viewings, through updated Nielsen measurement methods may have helped boost the reported ratings. They say that while traditional television audiences have shifted in recent years, the Super Bowl uniquely continues to attract enormous collective viewership across formats. Still, despite the slight dip from last year, broadcasters and advertisers alike see the Super Bowl as appointment television, a live event that still brings huge audiences together at one specific time each year, a rare phenomenon in modern media. Alrighty then. So, with that being said, make sure that you take 2 words from today's lesson and practice using them in a conversation, whether it's to someone else or to yourself. Make sure you watch today's lesson twice, once with the subtitles on and once with the subtitles off. And if you have a suggestion about what I should do on my next news lesson, let me know down in the comments section. With that being said, if I've earned a like, make sure you give me a like and please share with a friend. That always helps the channel. I hope you get some rest and I hope you join me on my next English lesson. Maybe one day I'll be on Telemundo. I'll see you then.